Now, we welcome Mr. Raymond Goh, Vice President of the Genealogy Society Singapore and one of Singapore's foremost specialists in tombstone and cemetery research. Known for his ability to read stones like books, Raymond has helped many reconnect with their past through forgotten graves and lost inscriptions. He has studied thousands of tombs, identifying not only family relationships, but dialect groups, social status, and even migration patterns based on tomb designs and inscriptions. In today's session, Raymond will walk us through the clues found in burial records and gravestones, often the last traces of our ancestors in the physical world. Please welcome Mr. Raymond Goh.
So I'm very honored here in the presence of many eminent experts and also well-known genealogy groups such as the FamilySearch, My China Roots, and Chinese Ancestry Research. And of course my own society, Genealogical Society. Yeah. So my topic today is actually bridging your past, present, tracing your family entry in Singapore. I just focused on the tombstone and the burial records. So just a brief explanation of myself. I'm a Vice President of GSS. I'm also the co-founder of Asia Paranormal Investigators. Last time I used to look for ghosts. Now I look for tombs. Yeah. And also co-founder of All Things Boutique Brown, the advocacy group, civil society, where we won Organization of the Year in 2014, fighting for the preservation of the cemetery. I'm also a licensed story guide. That's why I can conduct tours and earn some pocket money. Of course, that is not my main income. Actually, I'm a pharmacist. So you might see me in Watson or Guardian dispensing medicines, or you can buy some OTC medicine from me. Of course, I plan to work there, not now. But I used to work in Guardian now. And yeah, I'm also since I'm a pharmacist, I'm also in the Medical Alumni Association. Yeah. And me and my brother, we love to solve mysteries. So our main purpose of finding the Asia Paranormal is not actually to find ghosts, but to debunk myth. Yeah. And so, yeah. So these are some of the stories that published about me. Like, I try to go down to hell. I try to investigate voodoo, and find ghost stories, and then finally find that the ghost story is due to, once I found the tomb which is broken in two, I connect the tomb together. I identified the white lady in white disappeared. Finally, maybe I grant her wish, to be identified. These are more discovery. I won't go into that. So, yeah. Anyway, back to my actual topic. So, in the tombstone, you'll find there are 4 words: 木本水岩真宗追远. This is very important for our understanding of family history. Not genealogy, but I prefer family history, like what gentlemen say. So 木本水源 means the root of the trees, the source of the water, and refer to the origin. No? When you drink the source of water, be grateful. Be grateful. And 真宗追源 means be careful of the ending of things and remember your ancestors. So the importance of the tradition and history to connect us, to our ancestors, and build upon the foundation laid upon by the previous generation. So 真宗追源, 木本水源. You always see this in the tombstone. Simple words, but powerful language. Yeah. I like particular this poem taken from a Ming Dynasty travelogue, a guidebook for sea voyages. And it's originally in Chinese, but I translate to English. So you can see well-known names there, like Malaysian port and all this. It means that the people come here to the southern seas, and they always leave behind their wife in the past, or their parents or whatever. So they always pray, please come back. After you get the money, please come back. and come back. But some of them don't come back. They marry here and settle down here. Then they come out with the Peranakans or whatever. But this is what it usually happens. We hope the good wind, Sun Feng, Xiang Song. Yeah. So, we must understand the competition of our immigrants. We are immigrant society, of course. There are original Malays here. But so the Hokkien make up the large group. And the Hokkien mainly is the Zhangzhou and Quanzhou. Then, of course, we have the Teochew, the Cantonese, the Straits Chinese, which mainly come from Malacca, or some of them come from Indonesia. Semarang is also a very old town. Yeah? And then Hainanese, Hakka. So you must, and this, I just take a snapshot of the percentage. So the Hokkiens are the most numerous, followed by the Teochew and the Cantonese. Just a snapshot. Yeah. And there's a saying where there's water, there will be Chinese. This is just show you. So I take this some time back. So it might have changed already. But just to tell you, there's still a lot of Chinese in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines, and Vietnam. So if you go there, the Chinatown is always very interesting. I just came back from in fact, I just went to Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam recently because I do the regional sales. So yeah, I like to go to the Chinatown, and sometimes I visit the cemeteries. My boss don't like it. Now, okay, just now you mentioned about the burial records. I go down to the burial records. Let me show you. These are the, Singapore now don't encourage, there's only cemetery that you can have a burial instead of the cremation is in Chua. And they only allow 15 years. After 15 years, they will dig you out. Of course, if its time is not right, some of them had not been dig out yet, but some of them after 15 years they'll dig out. And after 15 years when they dig out, some of the body don't decompose. Yeah, so sometimes you see the 僵尸. That's what they told me. Quite scary one. Yeah. So I just compiled, with the help of my friend, all the cemetery that has been closed. So if you know the name of the cemetery, and then the archives hopefully have the records of the cemetery, then you might be able to find. Yeah. Oh, even Keramat Habib Noor is still there. It's not closed, but it's still there. It means not allowed for burial. Huh? Just to show you, Iskandar Shah. These two are very famous historical sites. Huh? They list it also. Kumo Lama is still there. Yeah. But Moore Street here, this is long, I think. It's not there. Istana, unnamed. Then a lot of Chinese, Malay, Japanese cemetery. So all this is closed 1973. Then they have the private cemetery, Chinese cemetery at Malcolm Road, 5th Avenue, Keramat. So many. So 1973 was a bumper year. So many was closed. Then Bukit Brown Cemetery, yeah, Bidadari, Old Christian Cemetery, Chinese wartime emergency, Tan Tock Seng burial at Plantation, Hokkien Cemetery, Lao Suan, Kopi Suan, Choa Chu Kang, Muslim Cemetery, Hock Eng Suan. So there are many cemeteries your ancestors can be buried. Yeah. Then you have the Hainan, but usually they go by the dialect also. If you're Hainanese, or if you are Hakka, or you're Cantonese, or whatever, most likely, or Teochew, they will be in that specific cemetery. Yeah, like Teochew Cemetery. Yeah. Okay. Just to show you. Yeah. Yeah, this is, I list out some. Suan Long San, Lok Ya King. These are the more famous cemetery. Kip Guan San. Sorry. Yeah, Kip Guan San. So some of them have burial records. Some of them have burial records. You can find. These are from the archives with the date. Yeah, Kip Guan San, Fong Yong Tai, and Lok Ya Ting. Some of them that. In fact, quite a lot, I think. And this is, for example, this is Lok Yatin, okay? And they have actually a book of all those are buried there, and they have about 11,000. These are formerly in the Outram Road, Tiong Bahru area. They have 11,000 graves. But unfortunately, this is what is remained. I don't think you can get good information. It's only the name and the surname. So I don't think you can get, unfortunately. Yeah. But this is what is there. And some of them are like from area, or they don't know the name, Fu De Gu Ren or Xiang Gu, you know. It's quite sad. No proper records are kept. I put it that way. Of course, this is the Bukit Brown Cemetery, which is shown. You can just click online, and then you're able to see the burial record. Yeah? So Bukit Brown was listed in the World Monument Watch in 2014. It was listed for 2 years. Yeah. This is a map of the Greater Bukit Brown. So it consists of the Bukit Brown Cemetery per se, and consists of other cemeteries like the Se Ong Cemetery, the Ong clan. So if your ancestor is the Ong, it could be also buried in the Ong clan from the Hokkien Ong clan. Yeah. Then there is a Hokkien Cemetery. All this started in around 1870s. So if your ancestor died from 1870s to 1946, there is a possibility that, up to 1972, because the Hokkien Cemetery it's only closed in the 1973 when they closed it. So from 1872 to 1973, if they are Hokkiens, or they are in the Bukit Brown Register, or they are sent on, there is a possibility that could be buried there. So the total number of burials is about 200,000 or slightly less. So there is a big chance that it could be in this area. Yeah, slightly less than 200,000, but around there. Yeah. So what they do is, you go and Google the name, whatever in the National Archives, the newspaper, you find a name, and then they say, oh, to Bukit Brown. Then you see the date, June 28, 1925. Then you see, and they buried on Sunday, June 28. So, then whatever, you check the date, the name there, then you see, oh, it's in Block 1B. Block 1B. So what you do is, you go to, this is a map, simple map of Bukit Brown. So Block 1B is there, then you find a number, it goes down in sequence. The British likes to go down in sequence. That's how we find. But most of the time, because there are about 90,000 entries, so if you don't know the year, it's very difficult to find. So you must say, sometimes I don't know, I can't remember. Then you should say, oh, when your father, usually it's the grandfather, great-grandfather. So when your father is born, when did he die? How old is your grandfather? So you use the kind of gauge. Then we narrow down so that we can able to find the burial registry. Otherwise, and then it's better that you do your own search. Last time I remember I had to go to the archives, and then see the microfilm, see under my eye. Then finally they open up. And especially during when they every day I go to my eye, and now my eyesight also getting worse. Yeah. Fortunately, the last time finally they open up the archives to help people to search. Yeah. And some of them keep the burial records. I mean that kind of certificate, burial certificate. So burial certificate, if you have, it's very good. It'll tell you the plot number, the name, and how much you pay. Yeah. $15 is yeah. And of course, there are a lot of mass graves in Bukit Brown. This is during wartime. That's why after Bukit Brown is full, they created called Chinese Wartime Emergency Cemetery at Coronation Road. So some of the burial entry is found in Bukit Brown. Then they say, hey Raymond, in the burial, can you help me to find? Then I look, alamak, the number is so big, 1,001. I realized that it could be in the Coronation Road Wartime Cemetery. So cannot find, because that cemetery has been exhumed already. But these are just to show you, some of them are skeletons, these are all wartime. So and we don't know where they are buried. Carried by the SM, Singapore Military Council, and then they just dig a hole and then just put inside. So it's also a wartime cemetery. Yeah. Then there are other cemeteries. Singapore, I think everywhere is cemetery. Alexandra, Bukit Merah, and then the Xe Ong, Xe Lim, Si Ka Ting, Peng San Ting, Lo Ye Ting, Hokkien Cemetery, Xe Yo, Xe Chua. So all these Xe Gao and Chua. So if you know the surname, sometimes they can be buried in the surname cemetery. So hopefully the clan has the Singapore Chamber of Commerce, or not Chamber, SICC, all the clans, you must go to find all the clan association, different surname. Maybe they have record, or maybe they know somebody that know your ancestors. Yeah. Yeah. This is just an example of the burial record. This is in, where is it? Fong Yong Tai. Fong Yong Tai. So you can see the name there. And the date assumed, but not the date of. So not so useful, but the name there is quite useful. Name in English and Chinese. And then you have the Hip Wan San, which is at Tolomanga Hill. Yeah, this is an example. So not so bad. And one thing good is the cemetery office in Chua Chu Kang, they digitize it. So if you know the name in Chinese, they can find, but it must be buried in the sand yo. So and then they will give you the ancestry. So you can find if you know the Chinese name, but it must be buried in the Sand Yo Cemetery, yeah, at Tolomanga. They digitize it. Yeah, this is another one at the Suan Khao Ting, Alexander Sterling Road there. This is Alexander Cemetery. This one not digitized. Very difficult to see. Yeah, but maybe, I don't know. Yeah. This is an example of Bukit Brown. Unfortunately, this is not reacted. But this is the actual one that you can actually see the address and the cause of death. Yeah, I don't want to see. Because he said you have to react. But this is sometimes they forget to reenact, no? Some pages, so you can see. Yeah. Okay, this one, fortunately, there are some records in Kopi Sua. If you ask the Hokkien Wei-Guan, they say all records are lost. Maybe because due to the wartime, they don't want the Japanese to find out. Nah? Maybe they destroy or whatever. So they only want to keep, this is kept by Goh Ek Siang. It's around 1950 onwards. So there are a few thousand records. So you must access this. I think it's in the National Library. It's a closed file. You need to access, then you'll be able to find some records, 1950s onwards. So from 1947 onwards to 1953, 54, 55 to 1960, you still can find in the Hokkien Cemetery. Yeah. There's a high chance. Yeah. So this is an example of the burial record, burial registry. Yeah. They will put the name there, they will put Tua Payoh, Kopi Sua, and then they Long Pa. These are, once we know all this kind of code name, we know exactly which section of Kopi Sua or this is not Bukit Brown, it's adjacent to Bukit Brown. This is example. Last time they allow you 8 feet times 16, 8 times 60, then they cut down to 7 times 15. Land size reduced. No, coffin size, not coffin size. Barrel plot reduced. Bo Ken Bo Kao land. Finally also bo lah. Yeah. So Chua Chu Kang, as I said, 1947 onwards. There is a cemetery plan. But very difficult to click this. But cemetery plan will tell you the burial place 1947 to 1970, 1980. Even now it's still being buried. So if you know roughly let's say he buried in 1947, you know which Bukit Brown is. I mean where you find Chua Chu Kang. Second thing is, it's digitized. You go to the cemetery office, as long as you know your ancestor name, you can find. And you must also know the death date, because Lima Kao, so many Lima Kao. Currently, I say Lima Kao, he come out with 10. That time I said Lim Boon Keng, come out with 5. Finally, I said, I think Lim Boon Keng, we know roughly the death date. Then I give me a exact. They say, who is it related to you? I said, my distant grandfather lah. Something like that, I said. They'll ask you what's the relation, but it's okay. This one is okay. Because sometimes it's a request for search, they'll help you. But they're very helpful. So they're very good bet to find. Yeah. These are, so I don't want to see. These are the cemeteries, again I mentioned. Yeah. This is where? Tai San Ting is where, you know? Takashimaya. Now it's who? This one? Holland Road, yeah. 英和广东嘉应湖属双龙山 Hakka one, huh? Yeah. This one they publish a book. In the book there, they put the name and the children name, so you can find. Yeah. So for example, I choose 195, 96, right? 95, 96. Tan Mong Tao and I put the same part. It's wife Ho Chok Junior. Yeah. Ho Chok Junior. Maybe. Oh, sorry. Ho Chok Junior. This is the actual figure from the Lee Brothers studio. And this is the death is buried in Bukit Bona Misa Road Cemetery. That means this is the cemetery. So you can actually find. Of course, she is not from Jiayin, she's a Peranakan, Nonya. But why they put Jiayin? Because they follow the husband one. So be careful. The wife always follow the husband one. Only Teochew Tom they put differently. I don't know why, but Teochew Tom, the lady one is listed ancestry priest. Teochew more liberated. But they put a lot of wives. Teochew Tom. Usually they list all their wives in the early days. Right? One man can have 2, 3 wives. Hokkien one more. They bury separately. This is Pek San Ting. So Pek San Ting, there is a map, and I think they have the burial record. You need to know the name. Yeah. There are a lot of. They have a very nice heritage gallery. You can go down there and see. And they also keep some Bukit Brown stones. After they exhume the gallery, because the car park so big, so all the stones, some of them lie in the car park. Yeah. Not yet. They are going to display it for exhibition. These are the niches there. So the niches there, you can also find out where they come from, the death date. So in the sense, and then the church record, our gentlemen, these are available just now we say, but permission is needed. That's a problem. Yeah. Anyway, so all the church they have, baptism, marriage, death, church of St. Peter, everything. And GSS has some early Catholic church of the marriage records. Yeah, GSS keeps some. So you all can approach GSS also. Please be a member and first. St. Andrew, St. Hilda. But we do it with the heart. We are not trying to, yeah. I mean, all this requires resources and then a lot of research work. So these are available actually. Yeah. And archives have a lot of, if you just Google the cemetery record, they will come out all this. Then you can, Bidadari, one thing good, it's online, right? Depends. Bidadari, a lot of people buried there, no? Yeah, depends only. Is there? They won't need permission. Okay. Now, after you cut tombstone, you know how to read the tombstone. Basically, the 4 things to look for: where is ancestry place, where they come from. Like here is Tingao or whatever. And then you look at, of course, the name, the title, what title you have, the year of. Usually this year you have to be careful. It's usually the year of they elect the tombstone, but usually can be also the year of death. Sometimes you have to base plus minus, think a bit lah. Some of them do it 10 years gap, but usually it's the death date. Usually it's the death date. Then you have the children name. Children name is very important. If your name is not there, you are not considered their children sometimes. Very strict last time. If your name is there, maybe you can get the inheritance. It's really, sometimes they use that to court. The female one, yeah, that's what I mentioned. The lady one, they got the ancestry place, yeah. And then, but usually sometimes they don't put the children's name, the Teochew one. That's I don't know why they don't put the Teochew name. And also there's red color, green color. Green color means mati already. Red color means still blood alive. That's what it means. Yeah. At the time of the time. Yeah. Of course, now all mati already lah. But sometimes at the time there. So you see one way, at the time of the election, yeah. I made a brochure last time. I want to show you the brochure. I just want to show you. Last time I just made a map, the same thing. And I just want to show you this. Oh, these are some of how to read the thing. Whether the relationship, the children, and also this kind of term like ku. When you see the word ku, it means sometimes it means that they die early. Yeah. So every term, every word can tell you something one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or whether is it who erected the tomb? You see the brother, the sisters, they'll put one. Yeah. Yeah. And then sometimes ranking, of course, in the past, you can see all the ranking. The main thing I want to show you is this county here. So if they put Fujian or then it can be Hinghua, it can be Fuzhou, or it can be Quanzhou. Quanzhou will consist of Nan'an, Tong'an, Hui'an, Anhui. Yeah. Zhangzhou will be Longxi, Haiteng. So when they will put this, sometimes they don't know, or they don't know, they just Hokkien. Then you'll have a headache lah. Hokkien so big lah. So you need to narrow down. But sometimes they put very specific, especially Teochew Tum. Teochew Tum, they narrow down to the village. And you know, Teochew now, they don't change so much. So it's quite more easier to find your ancestral village in Teochew region. Hokkien, they change very fast, the region. I think, yeah, it's not so easy. Yeah. So you get the Hakka. Then Guangdong, there are some Hakka area, you know. Xingling or whatever, Zhaofu, Piji, Guijiu. So these are, remember just now, so a lot of our forefathers come from this region. A lot of come from this region. Yeah. These are just some of the terms I published later. No. Sorry. Okay, this one I take from the Penang one of the temple. So you will see these are normal. They say Huang Qing. That means the normal Qing or normal clean. Sometimes people or we always say when you put the Qing there, it means clear lah. But it can also mean Qing dynasty lah. Yeah. So if you put Ming it doesn't mean bright and clear lah. It's a big fine already. It means Ming dynasty lah. Ming will be a big fine. And then Kao, Pi, Mother, Father, Gong. Yeah. And then the year, very important. They'll tell you, Xian Tong, Tong Zhi. So whenever I see the Dao Guang, I get very excited. Because that's where standard reference come in. 1819, this is starting from 1821. So that means it's snapshot first generation. Dao Guang. Oh, if I got Jia Qing, right, you can call the press already. That's before the standard reference. No tomb before the standard has ever been found. Despite claims that they have come here earlier than reference. The reason why I start all this, this is actually my grandfather's tomb. First time I come across, I don't know. My father suddenly said, Raymond, follow me to cemetery. I said, why? He said, I'm going to see. Go and see. I said, fool of nothing to see. Just bones only. That's what I told my father last time, about 20 years ago. And he said, never mind for me. So I go and look at my grandfather's tomb. Quite young, Then I saw my name there. Where's my name? My name there, Anqian. I was shocked. Oh, my name is there. No. Then immediately I feel a sense of attachment. Then I look closer at my grandfather. I go and Google his name. Oh, last time he have a Jiu-Pai license. He sell liquor. He can sell liquor. And where he said, Bukit Timah there. Last time I go to Kampung there, the toilet there. I always park there. You park on the drain. That place is this address. Suddenly the history eyes open to you. That's where I started to research. That's the starting point. You need the spark so you can build up the children or whatever. Then you attend funeral. That's where people will tell you stories. Hey, Akong Ali Acek. Then you, oh, first time you know so much. Funeral session is the best time to ask all. So I asked, hey Raymond, you fight for people. Do you know your ancestor, great-grandmother buried in Bukit Brown? I don't know. Then they went near the roadside. I walk past every day, I don't know. This one. I said, but this name doesn't tell you. My grandfather, oh, last time he can't see the name. Can't change the name. That's why he doesn't tell you. Never mind. This is the wife. You the great grandfather is in, I forget the niche name, is somewhere in go and find. Then find. Then this one got the ancestry village, right? Then Then I said my father always ask me go to the one Kim Po An, don't know what Kuli King, I don't know what. Then I realized now why I go Kim Po King, because they are all from this village. They are all from this village. So the last time we are going to close this Kuli King. So they invite all the descendants come. One last time go for the ancestor village. And then go there, they will tell you the generation name. But unfortunately I didn't go. I was too busy with my studies. So always a balance. Then after that, my parents always say, hey Raymond, you go and visit this uncle. Stay in Beach Road one. I said, that was very young. I said, well, why visit him? He's a Chua, right? Why visit him? I said, sometimes he take opium. Last time you were allowed to smoke opium, no? Take opium, ride bicycle. No, you visit him. Then later, I found from my father, just before he passed away, that my grandfather is actually a Chua, adopted by the Go, through the sister. Oh my God, now I have to redo everything again. So sorry, adopted, my grandfather was adopted, that Go. Nobody tell me the last minute. Until he said, you go and visit him, he will tell you. His son told me, he's adopted. Now I left about 10 more minutes. Just to show you, this is one tombstone. Here you can say, I was originally from Fujian Longxi, but I was born in Hersu, in Holland, Dutch controlled territory, Bangka, Mantok is somewhere near Bangka there. 生于中国民国4年 born 1915, 中于民国 died 1936, so quite young. And then erected by who? Bao Ti, 3 brothers. So we got no, we know. So he died early, as I said. Definitely not married lah. Otherwise, wife or children will die. So this tomb, so this is what you want to know, right? Where they come from, the death date, and the name. This is in Bukit Brown. How to find his burial entry? Very simple. 1936, Seagate, you convert to the English date, then you go to Bukit Brown Registry, you can find the block number, you can find his tomb. We must convert to the English date. The tombstone usually write in the Chinese date and the Chinese. This one more interesting. This one, they never use the Qing. They use the moon. You know why? This moon is actually the Qing, right? They chop off the head. So the Qing, we chop off the head, becomes less the moon. So this is actually the Fan Qing Fu Ming, they rebel. Yeah. Very rebel. And then he don't use the Qing dynasty, Xian Feng, what lah. He used Tianyin, Ring of Heaven. So tombstone will tell you this kind of stories. Of course, we can know the village where he come from, because all the Sun, a lot of this is the son, a lot of them come from this village. Yeah. This is another one. When I say Kongzi or whatever, there's still one country that still use the Kongli, Indonesia. So if I see the tombstone that Indonesia and then use some Chinese name, I'm quite certain the ancestry place may have originated in Indonesia. They like to use the Kongli, Kongzi. Indonesia still use the Kongli. Yeah. So they use 551 BC, then you just add the current year. Year Confucius born. Yeah. Then, this is just show you 总统5年. The 5th year, actually it's 民国5年, but maybe that time they want to follow Chiang Kai-shek or what. I don't know. here they put Heng San Ting Tiong. But you know Heng San Ting is in Jalan Bukit Merah, already burned down already. This actually the Hokkien cemetery there next to Bukit Merah is also called Heng San Ting. So I recently and my group discovered the Heng San Ting, the marker. It's very historic because it shows that Heng San Ting continued. The fire burned, but it's still reunited in this place. For those who cannot read Chinese, fortunately this tomb also got Angmo one. But because they are Peranakan, so they are more a bit. That in Singapore, per day or Mun Chong Tong, it's not easy to decipher. But yeah, so very good. Buried at Toa Payoh Cemetery. So if it's Toa Payoh Cemetery, it's in Bukit Brown. Yes, if they say Toa Payoh Cemetery. Of course, not that. Toa Payoh itself also a cemetery. Xiang San family was also buried there in Toa Payoh Cemetery. An Xiang San is also in Toa Payoh Cemetery. Yeah. But this is also called Toa Payoh Cemetery, so there is a chance. Yeah. And then just now remember the Chua Kang, I told you the cemetery. So this guy said, is he buried in Bukit Brown? Then he died in 1974. I checked. 1974. Why don't you try Chua Kang? So I give him a number. So he check. He got a name, he got a roughly, it missed by 1 year. But 1974, cannot find, then he find 1973. Jackpot. They tell him which year, which location, and the tomb match the name. So Chua Kang Cemetery is still a very large cemetery. A lot, so there's a chance, 1947 onwards. And then there's also the Bulim Swa. There's also Wa San Teng. All these, if you're depending on the locality. Yeah. So sometimes with the name, and then as long as there's a year, and as long as he can be buried in Bukit Brown or a Hokkien cemetery, there's a chance. This one I helped some designer to find the tomb. Then Genie is a very good place, So I found that because he said that he is the daughter of this famous Wee Tiam Tiew lah. So I find his name. And then you go Genie. This is the father. This is the brother, Wee Tiam Seng. This is the wife, Wee Tiam Seng. So Wee Tiam Seng has many daughters. One of the daughters is Wee Yu Neo. Yeah, there you can see them. Quite similar, same person. Then after that, I looked through the exhumation, the newspaper. I managed to find the tombstone, the names. I managed to find that because Chua Kang undergoing the annual redevelopment, so I managed to help them to claim their ancestor tomb. Then I put down exactly the same as I just followed the pattern. I followed the wife because it's all in urns. There is no inscription. So I just follow the wife's name. But it should be accurate because they also got will one in the archives. They are a very famous family. In fact, the land of Bukit Brown last time belonged to them. And he was the head gangster last time. No? His ancestor tablet. So ancestor tablet also can give you clues. Last time, I still keep some ancestor tablet when they were in my warehouse. Yeah. Then this kind of thing don't throw away also. Yeah. So from there, after I found, I managed to decipher the great-grandfather, grandfather, because from here, the tomb, this is actually all this. I found the relationship through the ancestor tablet. Yeah, these are actually the ancestor of Cheng Hong Lim. These are some of the people that I helped to find. And this photo, he said he never see his grandfather before. Then fortunately that he put there but he said, give one clue. He said he used to be a very prominent member of the Ang Hui Kwan. So I go to the National Library, I go through the magazine, and then in the magazine sometimes they publish the previous chairman. I found his picture. He's very grateful. Yeah. Very grateful. This Goh Chok Tong one. Yeah. It matches exactly the same as Zhu Pu. Yeah. Yeah. Then this is when you say Hong San, impression is Tan Kim Seng. Yeah. So based on this Jupu, I said, this tomb, Hao Sun, the name is Hao Sun. It's actually Tang Kim Seng's grandfather, or whatever. Yeah. 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 So I believe also some founders of King Te Hui also found recently in Malacca. Yes. So a tombstone can also tell you many things, tell you about the personality. Like this one, the flag there, it's a Usa Qi. Last time I also don't know. 5 races under 1 nation. Now I know. Represent the Han, Manchus, Mongols, Muslim, Tibetans. Yeah, so nice. No need to, I don't know, maybe they got a pledge. Yeah. Then this one is also a tomb in Bukit Brown. So Phuket, means they don't know where it is, roughly they don't know where it is. But one thing is, it's written by, there's some kanji, katakana. So, and then there's a year there, very interesting, 2603. It corresponds to the war year. So in Bukit Brown, there is some kind of this kind of calendar also, yeah, the war year calendar. And then I go and find this name, and fortunately I managed to find the name in one of the. He died. I'm quite accurate because this soldier came from the migration pattern or the battle. I had to chase the battle. It was around Singapore at that time. So I'm still looking for him. I mean his brother. Maybe his brother passed away, but we wouldn't know. Then these are the Qing dynasty titles. 5 more minutes. You can see all the various titles, and then sometimes they really wear the titles. And then sometimes they wear the ground. So when we exhume the tomb, right, sometimes they're still wearing the ground. So I can still imagine the tomb keeper tell me, Raymond, one time I said, Sibei Chao. Yeah, Sibei Chao. You know what I mean? Decompose halfway. But he's still wearing the globes. Not fully composed. Yeah. Some of the titles, 5th rank, 3rd rank. Then there are books that actually so if your ancestor got title, right, you can go to the books with the title. There are some people who write the titles where you can see what title he get and what name, and what year he get. Usually this kind of title is they donate the title to get, not through the real merit. This is, for example, this is Gan Yin Seng. You will know that this is Gan Yin Seng because his name is Kang, very royal, very fierce, or very strong man. But we know it by the children's names. One of them is Tiong Po. And how you read the name? You read the center, then like that. You don't read left to right. Understand? You read in the middle, then left, right. You read like that. Yeah. Last time was in Bukit Brown, the tomb all not so good one. I had to crawl and do all this fun stuff. But when we found the tomb, it's very satisfying. They will come and then they'll publish newspaper, 5 generations, and then the ancestry village, Xinjiao. But usually they just put Hai Ting. The tomb they put Xinjiao here. They put Xinjiao. Put Xinjiao. This is the father tomb. Father of Gan Yin Seng. They still don't want to claim. I don't know why. Because too distant already. And then tombstone also sometimes you got all these few party stories. And the Sikh gods, they look quite similar. Angels are mainly found in Bidadari. Quite few. Quite few. Because it's not a Christian cemetery, you see. Then no angels put don't know what. Then the profession, some people put the profession, The 4 profession: fisherman, woodcutter, farmer, scholar. Which one you want to be? Farmer, good. Just now someone mentioned farmer. No. Scholar, woodcutter. 4 profession. 4 profession, each of them have its own merits, satisfaction. Guan Gong. Looks similar, This one? Zhuge Liang. This one? Qi Xian Ni, Qian Xian Pei. Then they got various symbol one. Qi Qiu, Ji Qing. Then they got, So tombstones are I want the pictures. Yeah, very beautiful. Then in Dutch we know that they are Kapitan, Dutch influence. Then this one look like matchstick. Then the factory name, he's actually LKS, Lee Kim Soo. LKS. His matchstick name after his initial. Interesting, right? Then we find the tomb shape also look like matchstick. Yeah. Then if it's a Chinese cemetery, but you can find some foreigner, right? Because they marry into the Chinese. You have Chenzhou. Yeah. Then they like to put the tiles, porcelain. This one. Then circus. Then some of them are from different religious affiliations. So you can see this kind of term, 佛教联社 or whatever. These are all Buddhist terms. Yeah, Buddhist terms. Or Pichuni. Yeah. This is interesting. Wu Wei Men Xia. Church of Emptiness. Not Church of Emptiness. The Temple of Emptiness. Yeah. Then the other one, Zheng Kong. Sorry, Kong Jiao. Yeah. And then it's still a living cemetery. Always they have a lot of. Then Chu Chet. A lot of roads names are buried in Bukit Brown. So many. So many. Dan Quy Lan, Teo Hong, Chin Yok, Eng Kiam, Yu Chin. Xiao Chin, one of the descendants is here. Yeah. Water. Yeah. I don't know whether it's here or not. Water High. It's the descendant of Xiao Yu Chin. Yeah. This is Chu Chet. So we can find out. So the archive is very good knowledge. You can find out from him all this obituary notice. But I found extra for him. I found for me his wife and another wife. Two wives. Why I can confirm it's another wife? He doesn't know. Or maybe he suspects because of the children's name. Yeah. And one is the China wife, one is the local wife. So say some story lah. Why? Then all this archive will tell. One of them finally is the one that donated the land to the Buddhist church at this Jalan Yunus. Yeah. Yeah. Then this is the father of his husband. Yeah. This one is recently there is a St. Paul Cemetery that is to me exhumed. So this is one of the tombs that So Yao Anwei means the chief mourning. And then from the name, from the children's name, someone from the archives managed to come up with a land deed, and then he's actually a donor of the land, of the church. Yeah, such a simple tomb. So I'm trying to see whether I can claim, but he say must be close kin, but I don't know. Yeah. Maybe all Christians are brothers. I don't know. Learn something. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the oldest one. I just show him the discovery of Xiao Yu Qin. Yeah. This is the tomb. How I discovered Xiao Yu Qin, because the name that they put Xiao Yu Qin, but it's from the imperial edict. When he bought over, he got awarded the imperial rank in Myanmar. This is his son, Myanmar. You see, they don't use the real name. They use the other name, generation name or whatever name given. So you need to find out from. It's more difficult. Yeah. And then he married sisters, Min Ye and Min Su. Yeah. One sister died, that's why he married the other sister. So when the tomb was discovered, yeah, it's a big event. Yeah, it's a big event. Yeah. And then there are others that I find, but I take my leave from now. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Raymond, for your fascinating journey through the stories etched in stone. This is impromptu, but I'd like to give testament to the work that the Bukit Brownies does, and NAS, and also I think GSS, yeah. Right, so in 2015, which was like 10 years ago, I suddenly had this urge to find out about my grandparents. My father passed away 30 years ago, and he never spoke about his family. He was a very private person. And so I woke up one morning, and all I remembered was the fact that when I was 8 years old, there was this sign road or something, and my father went to sweep the tombs during Qingming, and he brought me along. And so there was this hill up, which he did, and that was all I remembered, right? And so where do I go? I was a journalist, so we have our ways of finding things. So I reached out, to the Bukit Brownies. I happen to know Darren and Peter, I think. And he said, okay, give me your grandparents' names. And I said, okay, I gave them. I have their names, right? And so within a few hours, maybe a day or so, there were the burial records, right? And my grandparents were buried in Bukit Brown, right? And there was even a marker and everything else. And so I said I wanted to visit. Right, and a very nice brownie by the name of James Tan. Yeah, he actually said, okay, I'll guide you. And so on a very hot, sunny morning, he came there to be with me, and then we walked, right, to find that particular marker. And 45 minutes later, we found it. And it was a feeling that, just as I think every one of you have stated, Eric and Brian, it was a feeling of, hey, I belong to somebody. I belong to a family, because I didn't know anything about my family or about my ancestors, yeah? And so I searched, and I managed to connect to the Khu Kong Si in Penang. This is where I come from. And it's from the tombstones that you get it. Okay, Xing'an County, Haichang Shi, Xiamen, right? And so, and on a very, and I went over to the Khu Kong Si in Penang to visit them. And with this records, with a photograph of that tombstone, I was like, say, hey, you are family, yeah? Although I don't know which clan I come from, which direct descendant I am, but I know that I came from there. So I visited the Khu Kong Si, and the very next year in 2016, they actually had a trip back to our ancestral county in Xing'an village, right? And I went with them, right? So basically that is my story, but just a few more words. So I went, and I was speaking to the elders, and there were a few questions asked, and for us women, I think, listen to this in particular. Right, so the elder asked me, so you are a Khu, K-H-O-O-Chiu? And I said, yeah. So why do you want to find your family ancestry? I said, well, since I'm a Khu, I want to find out where I belong. And he said, but you're a woman. And I said, hey, I can't. But women, you get married, right? Do you have any sons? I said, no, I have 3 daughters. And the next question he asked me was, so why do you want to find? Okay, that is like 10 years ago. I hope he changed his mind now. All right, okay. So that is my story. And I want to thank, right, today I'm standing here thanking the people from NAS, right, the burial records and the records, the people from who else do I thank? The Brownies, yeah, they gave me a lot. And on 2015, I actually met up with Mr. Ng. Yeah, I think you were trying to set up, GSS, and we met in Next, I remember, and that was the first time I met him. And then I decided, hey, why don't I join GSS? Yeah, so this is the history of my joining GSS. Yeah, okay, so back to my story. I even brought back the tupu from the clan. It was very heavy, 5 kg, I think, 2 books, yeah. But I brought it back, and I can't read Chinese, so I'm now trying to translate it. Okay, so all thanks to the Bukit Brownies, NAS, and the British, who kept very detailed records. If not for them, I don't think I'll be able to find the tomb. And with this session from Raymond, right, we'll now be taking a lunch break.